This is the old human being. And probably the plotter, the person who drew these images, they were also human beings. So they didn't make their tails. Dil tem dhoka kadega. Right? So we were like animals. And millions of years ago, for millions of years, we lived like animals. Right? How the human mental level developed when the mankind learned to put the rock in front of the cave they were living in. When the door of the cave was locked, then they learned sound sleep. And when you have sound sleep, your brain works better. And today, even some animals are not having sound sleep. One of their eyes open. And when you are not sleeping properly, your mind will not work. So never destroy the natural lock. If you look into the European, most of the European wake up very early in the morning. Although they are not praying, but they wake up very early in the morning and sleep very early in the night. This is because you will have to go with the natural clock. And that enhances your efficiency and potential. So, when the mankind learned that, and when I was coming now to this hall, I learned that for after 11 days, if you don't sleep, you will die by yourself. So sleep, and that according to a natural clock, is very important for mental development. And the mankind development started when that level of learning, that level of mental activity increased. And the first universities which were reported are University of Bologna in 1088 and University of Paris in 1160. But yesterday, when you teach and you learn and you are involved in this process, every day you will learn new things. So I was thinking that when I come to your classroom, to your hall, what will I tell you? So I was searching on internet and I found another interesting thing, that the world's first university was founded by a woman. So you are the leaders of education. And that woman was Fatima al-Fihriya al-Qurayshiyya, and who founded the first university in Fez, which is Morocco, right? And that university is still functional, right? So you have the leading role, and you should lead the society. And I frequently tell people and write in the newspaper that if you, the educated class, is not aggressive and show the wisdom to the society, you will be led by the semi-literate and illiterate class. If you don't move forward and take the society in your educated hands, then they will be led by the semi-literate and the illiterate class, which is happening now, right? So be aggressive. If you have something good in your mind, take it to the society. And when the first university was founded by women, why not today? What happened to you today? Come forward and move forward. Why we remain backward? The first human revolution is about 10,000 BC old. And that is the revolution when the mankind started to grow edible things. when the mankind started to grow edible things. Before that, they used to be eating whatever was available in the forest and different things. But that 10,000 BC marked that revolution. Then the Arab agriculture revolution came in 8th and 13th century. The British agriculture revolution is 1750 to 19th century. The Green Revolution, it started from 1935 up to 1970. It is very important. Ask your elders, what were they eating as a bread 50, 60 years ago? They used to eat barley bread. Although barley is good health-wise, but they couldn't grow enough wheat to eat wheat bread, right? People say that if sugar is in the sugar cane and the gear in Pashto we call Gane, I have made it, then what is the role of science in it? We grow sugar cane and the gear is our own and we make gold or sugar, raw sugar from it. So what is the role of science? So I'm telling you about the role of science, that people were unable to eat wheat bread 50, 60 years ago, and it was a giant research of Mexico and Pakistan. The Mexico lands temperature and fertility was like ours, and that is why we did a giant project. And when the Mexipac seed came, then the growth of wheat increased 10 to 20 times, and we enabled to eat. That research enabled us. So science is very, very important. Never ignore it, and it helps you, and it takes you towards self-sufficiency. Yes, agriculture revolution then came, and then the scientific revolution. This is very important. I want to try convince you upon one thing, that what is adopting a revolution, and that was the main flaw in our society, that we couldn't develop like the technologically advanced countries. When agriculture revolution, the second agriculture revolution came, we adopted that. And what that adoption means, we we needed a field, and a field was there, right? Land was there. We needed a flow, the flow to flow the land. And our lumberman, Tarkan, was in our street, right? We need a rat to draw water from the well for the land. And that lumberman was in our street, right? Whatever we needed was available on our street. We didn't need to go to the road to buy something for our farming. Everything was in our mahalla or village. And when we used to sit for gossips in our hujra, still we will be making ropes, different sorts of items for our farming. And our women, my sweater used to be made up by my mother. I never bought the British or the American or the Japanese sweater for myself. The cloth was made locally. Most of the Pashtun used to grow everything in their field. We didn't need to go to shop. There were no imports. The one import I remember was the German Lalten. There was nothing imported in our society. The ties of our kids used to be made by the street lumbermen, Tarkan, right? So when everything is made locally, this means you adopted the agricultural revolution and there was not a single penny loan upon the country. Nothing used to be imported and you were free people, 100% free people. If there was one bicycle in my village and now there are 100 motor cars in my village, these motor cars are from loan and that bicycle was my own. So I was free. So if you want to live as a free people, then you will have to adopt the revolution of the day. Today's revolution is IT revolution. Today revolution is a technological revolution. And if you are lagging behind in that, then you will depend on the imports. And when you depend on the imports, then you will be under the loan. And that loan will increase with the time. So this classroom should educate us, should train us, should make us skillful so that we take our science to society and we don't import the highly technological products from abroad. So this classroom is responsible for our slavery, for economic slavery. And if we failed, we will be failed forever.